Let's talk some day trading advice from Reddit. Kind of just had an idea. Let's see what Reddit has to say about some things. And this was advice towards day trading. And to be fair, there is actually some really good advice, but there's also some, as we're going to see, that, we'll just get to it. But I want to also point out that there is a lesson here that this is the risk when you just hop on forums and hop on social media is, there can be good advice, but there's always sprinkled in things that you're about to see that just aren't true, or they're kind of true, but they can mislead you. They can send you down pathways you don't want to actually go down, ultimately causing you to waste time, have headaches, lose money, all that sort of things. Now, to be fair, I realize the irony here. Well, who are you? Why should we trust you? Don't trust me. All I'm asking is find somebody you do trust and then say, hey, you know what? I saw this goofy looking guy, called himself Clay Trader, and he said this. Ask them, say, so what do you think? Is this person right or wrong? So again, I'm not saying to trust me in regards to this. Definitely cross-check me. Go and figure out somebody that you do trust. Ask them what I have to say. And I have a sneaky suspicion that they'll also agree with what I'm saying here. So let's get to the Reddit advice. But here's the most important thing I wish I knew in the beginning. You as a retail trader have no power in the market. No, this is just not true. I concede there are many areas of the market where you have zero power. But in the most important part of the market, you do have power.
I have absolute power.
And that is in regards to risk management. You can control how much you lose in a trade. That is totally in your power. That's why I constantly say trading has nothing to do with winning, because that's one thing you have no control over. And that's a good thing, right? I mean, think about it. You can win. A win can keep growing and growing and growing. And I mean, a win is out of your control. It can get as big as you allow it to get if you're in a trade that really goes in your favor. But a losing trade, you can totally control. You have absolute power in regards to the amount you risk in a trade. That's why trading, you definitely need to be focused at the core, at the primary, is risk management. Number one reason traders lose money is trading against the trend. So,
I'm gonna have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there.
I will link this video down below, but it has over 500 trades of mine where the strategy is literally going against the trend. And as a spoiler, I am making money. Now, I do understand the trend is your friend. I understand all that, and there's a time and place for that. Don't get me wrong. But to say that, oh, you're for sure gonna lose money, or you know what, that's the number one thing. If you go against the trend, you're gonna lose money, that's just not true. If trading, or another way to look at it, another way I can frame this is, if trading was literally as easy as just going with the trend, failure rates would not be at 90, 95% depending on who you ask, okay? If it was just go against the trend, go with the trend, and that's it, yeah, there's a little bit more to it than just that. The only real advice I can offer is that you study economics and learn about fundamentals. Now, this comes from a thread asking about day trading. So day trading from that angle and saying you need to study economics and study all the fundamentals.
What?
I'm sorry, I don't see how any of that is relevant. I mean, from a day trading standpoint, does the 1 minute, does the 2 minute, does the 5 minute time frame, I mean, does that actually care about some sort of macroeconomic thesis? I mean, I guess maybe kind of, but I mean, from a day trading, especially if you're looking at day trade and do scalping and stuff like that, I'm not quite sure. Again, let me reframe it this way. Go and read any economics textbook of your choice. In fact, go and get a degree in economics. Then sit down at your computer, start looking at the 1 minute, the 5 minute candlestick time frames, and start trading. I guess I can't say for sure, but I'd be willing to bet some money that you're gonna be good. I'm like, what? I have no idea what I'm looking at. What is this? What am I supposed to be doing? Yeah, sure, I understand economic terms, but I would highly disagree here that you need to go and spend any amount of time learning about economics and stuff like that in order to day trade. The only rules that matter are make money and number two, don't lose money. And this is by far the worst bit of advice. I probably should have saved this one to the end, but this one is just terrible.
Terrible.
Terrible. Now, there's a little sub-educational lesson here because this comes from one of the Warren Buffett quotes out there that's basically rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, remember rule number 1, paraphrasing something like that. And okay, fine, but that's also, you're jumping categories. Warren Buffett is not a day trader. And again, this is coming from a day trading thread, asking for day trading advice. So you're to take something that is in the category of investing, and on top of that, long-term investing, and on top of that, like one of the greatest investors in the history of investing, and then importing that into the world of day trading, that's just terrible. Losing money is part of being a day trader. Going back to risk management. Risk management is, hey, you know what? You're going to take losses. Totally fine. Let's make sure we're taking disciplined losses. Let's make sure we're taking losses in controlled ways. So losing money is totally fine. And any implication that makes it seem like losing money is a bad thing in the regards to day trading, again, terrible advice. Unless you are aiming to do this full time, don't do it. No, I do understand where this person is coming from. I think if I'm charitable, they're just saying, you know what? If you're gonna do it, you gotta go. You gotta give it your all. You've gotta just devote yourself to it. You've gotta pour heart, mind, and soul into it. I think that's what they're saying. But no, you don't need to do this full time. I don't do trading as a full-time thing. I have many streams of income. And quite frankly, I don't know many traders that do it full time, because most traders I know, they have other streams of income. So it's not like trading is your sole source of income. And I would encourage you to always do the same thing. Every wealthy person I've ever studied has multiple streams of income. So go out there, have multiple streams of income. And as soon as you're doing that, then yeah, trading's technically not a full-time thing for you. I call it a side hustle because yeah, I'm not doing it 8 hours a day in front of my computer or anything like that. I'm looking at, a couple hours at most. Every day is a little different, but by no means is this some sort of full-time job in order to make worthwhile money. And it doesn't need to be a full-time job for you either. Now, if you want to go out there and have all sorts of private jets and Lamborghinis, then yeah, you're probably gonna need to devote a lot more of your daily time to it. But like I said, to make worthwhile money, you don't need to do it full-time. Read the news first, then check if there's any economic indicators. Now, this one comes from a place of, I get it, I hear what they're saying, but again, context of day trading. In the world of day trading, you've got to act. Sometimes you've got to act now. You got to be able to think quickly. And news is just something that gets the price moving. And that's all we care about as day traders is the price moving? What direction is it moving? What direction do I think it will continue to move? Now, I know you can say, well, Clay, yeah, but that's where news can help, because you can say, well, I'm going to read this news so I can figure out what direction I think it'll move. And to be fair, maybe you're really good at this, but I'm terrible at it. Meaning I love to play this game. I love to look at news, read it, pay no attention to the price, and then say, okay, I bet the price is going up right now. And then I'll look and the price is going down. Or I'm like, oh, wow, that's terrible news. The price must be going down so bad right now. And then I look and the price is going up. So like I said, if you're actually really good at looking at the news and saying, oh yeah, that news is gonna cause the price to be going up, then sure, there's a little bit of room here. But more times than not, I found that when I'm trying to look and find the news and try to decipher, okay, read through it all and look at all this sort of stuff, and then I get back to the trade and I just missed it.
Missed it by that much.
And opportunity cost is a very real thing we need to consider as day traders, and the time you're spending trying to find the news, trying to read the news, trying to analyze it, you could just be using a technical chart, a candlestick chart, looking at some patterns, looking at some things, setting stop losses, putting on the trade, and taking advantage of that opportunity. So like I said, but to be fair on this one, if you are actually really good at looking at news and saying, oh, the price is going to go in this direction with that news, then it could be a viable strategy for you. But myself and a lot of people I know, it feels like sometimes there's no rhyme or reason in news. You would think that news would send the price plummeting and the price skyrockets, and vice versa. Be patient and don't compare yourself to others. Now that is one solid piece of advice. Yes, you've got to be patient. Not only with your growth as a trader, you've got to be patient in developing strategies. And then even if you have those strategies, you've got to be patient in waiting for the right setup. And then even when you get the right setup, you've got to be patient within waiting for the proper entry point within that setup. So yes, patience at a multiple layers, very, very important. And maybe the best thing, don't compare yourself to others. I still struggle with this every day, and I've been doing this many, many years, especially with social media. It's easy to look on there, see gains and numbers and be like, wow, am I just a terrible trader? Am I doing something wrong? Like what's my deal? Because I'm not making that amount of money. And I mean, and just even granting the premise that what you're seeing is actually real. So we'll just assume that it's real. Don't do that, because you're not them, they're not you. They may have way more capital they can risk. I mean, there's so many variables that you don't need to compare yourself to other traders in regards to, am I making money and stuff like that. It's total, it plays all sorts of mind games with you. Figure out what works for you, go with that. And if your results yield lower amounts than other people, who cares? At least you are getting results. At least you have consistency. Many people don't even have consistency. So if you're getting consistency and you're getting money, but it doesn't happen to be as much amount as somebody else, totally fine. Don't let that screw around with mind games. Don't compare yourself to others. So I'm curious what you thought about this video. Should I do more of these Reddit advice where I go through, kind of pick out some of these nuggets that aren't so good and that can lead you astray? But like I said, leave me down below, or I don't know, share with me. Have you ever seen a Reddit comment that you're like, wait, what? Would love to hear those too. So I hope this helps. I hope this helps kind of parse through some of that information and good and bad that we call Reddit. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.